Okay. So we'll start with the prayer. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam. Namah Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Sutarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So in today's Japa talk, I thought since we are approaching Guru Purnima, which is one of the most important festivals, I thought I would like to share some of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So थोड़ा चैतन्य महाप्रभु का pastimes के बारे में देखेंगे. That's what I thought I would share during today's Japa talk, as we are very much approaching Gaura Purnima, which is next week on Tuesday. So first of all, let us understand like who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Swayam Krishna himself. And who is Krishna? Krishna is actually Bhagavan. And why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come? Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give the love of Godhead. So we all know why it is very important. First thing we should know is who is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is one who is actually having all the opulences. So unka paas sab opulence hai. So it's just like that. Why it is very, when Chaitanya, when Lord actually comes, we know that see, initially what happens is Maharaj was giving this example why it is important to understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Swayam Bhagavan. So he was giving this example like when we are singing a song, we go into very deeply. We go by each aksharas. When we sing, we read each aksharas so that we can understand the song properly. We can pronounce the song properly. But after knowing the song properly, then actually we start singing. We don't go into the minute details. We just get into that ecstasy of singing this song. So similarly, for a devotee, knowing that Krishna is Bhagavan, knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very, very important. So initial days, we try to know that Krishna is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So once we know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we actually are eagerly wanting for that prema. We are actually anchoring for that prema. It is very important to know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But why we need to know that? To achieve that love of Godhead. And that is actually given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he also says that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, Prema Dana Vina Vyartha Jivana. So actually the purpose of our life is actually to get this Prema Dana. So that is why the incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so important. Next, Maharaj was saying to get this love of Godhead, like where is the source of this love? So that the source of this love is actually in the spiritual world. So and in the spiritual world also the love of Radharani, the nature of love that Radharani offers it to Krishna, that is the highest form of love, because Radharani is none other than the pleasure potency of the Lord. So that is why Lord actually decided to take the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani, so that he can exhibit the highest love of Godhead. So Maharaj was saying that why Lord decided to take this form of Radharani in the mood of Radharani, mainly to experience three things. So what are those three things? that actually Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead was knowing everything. He was actually knowing how this creation created, what everything he was knowing. But one thing what Krishna was especially missing was this love what Radharani was experiencing. Maharaj was saying this three qualities. What actually Radharani is actually for why Krishna took this form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So those three things are first is to know the nature of Radharani's love, how she feels, how it feels to be Radharani. So for that, actually, Krishna took the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the first reason. And the second reason is what is the qualities of Krishna that actually Radharani likes, rather, or Radharani is attracted to. So second reason is what are the qualities of Krishna that Radharani is attracted to. And the third reason is when Krishna reciprocates to the love of Radharani, how does Radharani feel? So the three reasons are, one is to see the nature of Radharani's love and how it feels to be Radharani. Second is what is the qualities of Krishna that actually Radharani likes, gets attracted to. And third is when Krishna reciprocates, how it feels. So this is why actually to know these three reasons actually Krishna comes in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna comes in the Krishna takes the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when he comes in the golden form. So again, we get again Prabhu says like why he comes in the form of a golden form. He could have come in the same form, right? Like in the black form, he could have come, but here it is said, Maharaj says that if Prabhu had come in this form, in the form of black color, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come in this complexion, in gold complexion, then when he sees himself, he would actually know that I am actually Krishna. So in that form, he would actually lose this devotional ecstasy. So that is why he even wanted to involve the complexion of Radharani also. So that is why he decided to take this the complexion of Radharani in the golden form. He decided to come. So especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mainly comes here to give us the taste of love of Godhead. He wanted to taste the love of Godhead. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, or whenever Lord comes, he doesn't come individually. He comes with all his associates. So similarly, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Lord Krishna came here in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he did not come alone. He came with all his associates also. So why his associates were there? So all his associates were there actually to came, and they all came actually to distribute this love of Godhead. So that is why we see in this Panchatattva, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Advaita Gadadhar, Lord Advaita Gadadhar, and Srivas Thakur. Who are they? We know that Nityananda Prabhu is none other than Balaram himself, and Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu and Lord Shiva. In both the combinations, in both tattvas, Advaita Acharya comes, and Gadadhara Pandit is nothing but the incarnation of one of the expansions of Radharani, and Srivas Thakur is none other than Narada Muni. So they all actually came to distribute this love of Godhead. So that is the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. Krishna comes in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to taste the love of Godhead, and he brings his associates to distribute this love of Godhead. So this is the first and foremost reason of the incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his complexion. So now, after seeing this, let's go to the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a small child. So as a small child, we know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born in Navadvip, and his father was Jagannath Mishra and his mother was Sachi Devi. So as a child, Krishna was very much attracted to the names of the Lord. So whenever he used to cry very loudly, so people and people in Navadvip, they actually would come there and actually loudly chant the names of Lord Hari or Lord Krishna. Whenever they used to chant, actually Nimai would get quiet, or he would be very happy by just hearing this sounds of Lord Hari and Lord Vishnu. So that's how his pastime was there. as a small child. So we know as Nimai grew up, he was a great scholar, he was a great pandit. He used to defeat all the scholarly people there with his words, with his scholarly knowledge. But very important thing what Maharaj said was, even during this, even after having so much knowledge, even though he was the supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Nimai or Nimai did not actually start preaching. He did not actually start preaching at that point of time. So Maharaj was giving why Nimai did not preach in his early age. He was only asking people to actually chant the names of the Lord. Even as a small child, he was actually engaging people to chant the Lord names of the Lord. But he was actually not preaching the message of Godhead. So Maharaj was saying why this is because he was actually waiting nicely to receive the instructions of his Guru. Even the Supreme Personality is showing us here by example, like how even the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes, he also is actually wanting to take the instructions. After taking the instructions from the Guru, then he starts preaching. So that's why it's very important for a devotee. So Maharaj was actually comparing this with respect to the services, what we are offer. So whenever we do service, it is very, very important that we receive the instructions and then we actually start doing that service, no matter what kind of services it may be. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing this by example. After he received the instruction from Ishvara Puri, who is the disciple of Madhavendra Puri, he initiated actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So after receiving the initiation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually started preaching the Harinam. So we know in the preaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he actually extensively preached in Navadvip. So during that time, actually, there was a Muslim ruler who was actually Chand Kasi. So Chand Kasi, he was a Muslim ruler. He was actually giving a lot of disturbances to the devotees. Sometimes he was even hurting a lot of devotees. So we know that famous pastimes of broken Mridanga. So when devotees started feeling pain that they were not able to preach the message of the Lord, not being able to do the Sankirtan, they took this message to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually decided, as a leader, he actually decided to actually come in front and do a big what they say, he instigated all the devotees actually to come and assemble to do a big yagna, to do a big Sankirtan yagna. Like all the peoples, millions and millions of peoples actually assembled in Navadvip, and they actually protested with small fires they took, and then actually they approached Chand Kasi. So just by seeing their presence, Chand Kasi was feared, and then we know the pastimes of how even Chand Kasi got attracted to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So here you can see, as after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received this instruction, got instructions to preach the message of the Lordhead, how he intensively preached the message of Godhead. Not only that, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached in Navadvip, now he wanted to further expand. So that is why he actually took initiation at a very early age of 24. So why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took initiation at 24? He could have preached in a similar way. But the reason Maharaj says that reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the initiation was he wanted to spread this Harinam not only in Navadvip, but the whole of India, but the whole of world. And taking sannyas would be appropriate manner, because when he takes sannyas, like when he gives this Harinam, it will be appropriate for people to take it, receive the instructions of a sannyasi, then without taking sannyasi. So he renunciated his family life, he renunciated his wife Vishnupriya, he renunciated his whole family, and then took the sannyas, especially to preach this message of a message of love of Godhead. So during that time, Keshava Bharati was the one who actually gave the sannyasi to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to actually Nimai Pandit, and he was named there as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So that was how he took the initiation. And after he took the sannyasi, like he wanted to go to Vrindavan, but his mother Sachimata did not want to go let him go to Vrindavan. So she told that, why don't you stay in Jagannath Puri itself, so that at least we can know what is happening about him. What are your whereabouts? So because I don't have any, his father was not there. So she what did she he sorry Sachi Mata wanted at least to know the news of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if he goes to Vrindavan, it will be very, very difficult to know about him. So she asked, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted her request and decided to stay in Jagannath Puri. But even during his stay in Jagannath Puri, he actually did for first 2 years, he actually went to the South India. And during his visit to South India, there is one pastime. This is a very, very important example. So he had one of his associate called as Kala Krishna Das. And during his visit to South India, Kala Krishna Das actually got attracted, allured to one of the women there, and he actually left Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Somehow he was attacked by Maya, and he got allured by the attractions of the woman. Knowing this, Kala Krishna Das has left. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very angry, and he decided that to reject actually Kala Krishna Das. He did not wanted to see Kala Krishna Das. He was very, very angry with Kala Krishna Das, and even rejected his disciple Kala Krishna Das. But even though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected, important thing here is to see how his devotees actually did. So what devotees did was, they did not reject Kala Krishna Das, but in fact they gave him a service, gave a service to Kala Krishna Das, and that service was actually to go back to Jagannath Puri, take the prasadam of Jagannath, and go and give this prasadams to the devotees in Navadvip, and then tell them that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is arriving back to Jagannath after the visits of South India, and then give this prasadam, distribute this prasadam to Sachimata, Advaita Acharya, and tell the information of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here we can see how, even though sometimes Lord rejects a devotee, but the devotees of the Lord are so merciful that actually somehow they engage us in the services of the Lord. So very important is that to know this, because the devotee, even the Lord is very merciful, even the devotees of the Lord are so merciful that sometimes even if a devotee falls down because of some crisis that he goes through in his life, devotees are so merciful that somehow they engage them in the service of the Lord, so they can again get an opportunity to serve the Lord and get a chance to take the mercy of the Lord. So this is a very, very important instructions that we see through the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So we discussed here the purpose of why the Lord's appearance as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the three features why Lord came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and why he came in this golden complexion, and how as a child, and the purpose of his associates to distribute the love of devotion to all. And then we saw how as a child, even though Nimai Pandit was very scholarly, he was actually not taking the service of preaching, and how he waited to get a proper instruction and then preach the message. And then we saw how he preached, and then we saw how he took the sannyasi, and then we at last we saw the important part of how devotees are so merciful. So I'll stop here in the interest of time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.